But I do want to bring to your attention that Shabbat candles, it's a mitzvah for Shabbat. If there's a woman in the house, she gets the privilege of doing it. But if there's no woman in the house, a man by himself will have to light the Shabbat candles. Just like a woman by herself will have to make kiddush. The Kallah, it's also a mitzvah that was given to us as a privilege. But the baker, if he's nice, he could just do it and not wake up his wife at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he could just do the mitzvah of the Kallah. But my dear sisters, the mitzvah of Taharat HaMishpacha, it's a mitzvah that only us, the Jewish women, could do. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you tonight our very special speaker, Miriam Yerushalmi. Miriam is also a very, very, very nice writer. She wrote over 20 books for kids and a lot of books for adults. And she has a very special book dedicated to the mitzvah of Taharat HaMishpacha. But I will let Miriam tell you more about her books. Thank you so much. And here comes Miriam.
You.
Kallah, my beautiful Kallah, my dear soul sisters.
Miriam, microphone.
Boy Kallah, my beautiful soul sisters. Tonight is your night. Mikvah night is your night. Boy Kallah, my beloved holy royal sister, beautiful always. No matter where you are, no matter who's around you, you are beautiful like a Kallah. Come in peace, my bride. Arouse yourself. Shake off the dust. Arise. Put on your holy garments, for your light has come. Who is the beautiful one, the best dressed? Of course, the Kallah. She's dressed in her holy garments with her thoughts, speech, and actions. Just like a Kallah that wakes up in the morning feeling beautiful, excited, ready to gather all of the accessories to bring out her beauty. The Mikvah experience is just that. Tonight, I invite you to dive into the divine. Let's get away from it all, from the stress, from what was last year, maybe even a month ago, and even maybe today. The message is so beautiful tonight. Mikvah night is so divine, really likened to the primordial waters, the heavenly waters. A time for rejuvenation, a time of exhilaration, a time of anticipation. My holy soully sisters, oh how you want to wait to see the fruits of your labor. You wait to be embraced. You wait to be totally immersed, mind, body, and soul, with your loved one. You await the total immersion into the womb of Hashem, your essence, your purity coming alive, your wholesomeness, your awesomeness. From time immemorial, you're hearing the call of your soul, longing to be understood, to be heard, to be accepted. And you wait to be loved and to be cherished. Sometimes you may not see that at the moment, but the day arrives, and yet that day of the menses, and you know yet again you're going to separate, and again you await. So many mixed feelings. The mixed feelings of, well, I'm not really ready. It's just like I went to the Mikvah 2 days ago, it seems like it. The separation seems so foreign. What about my needs, you might ask? Trust Hashem. He knows your needs better than even yourself. Trust Hashem that He has you covered. Everything is for your good. But the separation still feels, well, maybe lonely. You feel alone. But you're never alone. Hashem is always with you. And your soulmate is always one with you. You come to the realization then, well, maybe this is actually good for me. I kind of like my own time. I kind of like being more desired. I like it. It's a blessing. Hashem, at this time, when your nida starts, whispers a beautiful message. This is a gift for you. Self-care is everyone's care. I bless you, my dear daughter, to try to take this time to feel the rapture and capture all the beautiful blessings for this precious time. You see, you begin now to count, like the Yidden counted during those days in the desert, waiting for that 5th day to come, waiting, checking, doing everything you can, washing, probing, making sure to reach that level of purity. You also can see the mitzvah of Mikvah with daily messages of our lives. So while you're checking and you're probing to get to that state, ultimately to the purity, you can check internally, not only where you need to, but emotionally, psychologically, making yourself ready to be fully present, fully forgiving, and fully ready for intimacy. All those days, finally, the 5th day is coming. You checked before sunset. You kept the hook internally till after sunset. And now you're pure, you're white. The white, soft cloth reminds you of all the whiteness of your soul. The white soft cloth reminds you of the beautiful dress, your gown, your Kallah down. It's a reminder. Boi Kallah. Let's remember how it felt to be a Kallah once again. Everything is flowing as is. Even the white garments, the white sheets, the white undergarments, everything is reminding you to go back to that intense, beautiful day. And with partnership with Hashem, every step of the way, you get closer and closer to be fully ready to be united once again, to reach new heights in all aspects of your relationship. If you see those 7 days as actualizing your 7 soul powers, many of you may know, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. Chesed, your kind soul powers. You can focus on it that day. How can I be even more kind? How can I even be more loving? Gevura. How can I have that self-restraint, that strength? Tiferes. Each day, 1, 2, 3. How can I be more compassionate? Netzach. To be able to have an enduring quality. Not to give up. To, yes, forgive again. Hod. To have compassion. Yesod. To feel the bond of the moments. And Malchus. To finally reach to that royal place where you feel ready once again to connect in the most intense, beautiful way. No area internally is left unchecked. Why not let all the aspects of your soul powers to also not be unchecked? Why not spend this time mindfully, not rushing through everything? Yes, it's stressful. Yes, will the neighbors know? Will I have help? Will the kids really be okay? So many energies that can be taking your mind off of the real holy moments. I pray for you, my dear sisters. Let not the stress of the myriad of details involved get in your way. Let it melt away. Let not the meticulousness interfere with your joy of being beautiful like a Kallah all over again. Try your best. See the bigger picture as you're preparing for the mikvah. See almost like a chain, one link to another link, all the way back to our matriarchs, the women who started it all, that gave us the koach to continue their legacy. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Imenu. The mikvah. The mikvah, you mekaveh. You hope. You hope. You think. You dream of all of the good that you want for your family. Notice it's called family priority because this mitzvah affects the whole home. Hashem is guiding us to rebirth, to reunite mind, body, and soul. You know, when the holy mystics would go into the mikvah, all the gates of heaven, the deepest of secrets revealed to them. Portals open. It's an intense, godly moment of all the gates of heaven so freely open. And then when you end up at that special night and the intimacy that happens, you're preparing to enter your holy of holies, your bedroom. Again, no other mitzvah brings you to such divine devekas, to such unity with Hashem, like the holy intimacy. Your efforts will pay off every time you actually feel the privilege of having to be a part of this experience. Your soul is shining. And you can pray, open my eyes to my heart so that I can experience this time without the stress, without the heaviness. Open my eyes for my dreams, for all my family. Please Hashem, Boi Kallah, please let me be the best dressed woman in my thoughts, in my speech, and my actions that are garments of my soul more beautiful than the garment of a Kallah. Each mitzvah brings about a keli, a vessel to contain the kedusha, to contain the holiness. And today, well, we're going to go through some of the details of what we need to do to prepare for this holy night. Again, you'll notice that you can spend the time looking at the details with those broader visions of how you can let go of the past and, like a rebirth, let go and move forward in your relationship. So for sure we want to do whatever we can to prepare joyfully. You know, they say the mitzvah with simcha, a simcha in itself elevates you infinitely. How much more if you attach simcha, if you attach joy to it? Definitely, while you're preparing and checking everything, the first and most important thing to know is to check for barriers. Maybe you had been involved in gardening, maybe making dough, the day-to-day task of womanhood. So we want to make sure that when we fully immerse, we're fully free of any extraneous substances that can invalidate the total immersion. Well, while we're doing that, we could think of what is our barriers. Maybe something in the past, a relationship with our parents, maybe something that just happened last week with your spouse. What's getting in your way of connecting? Where can you check the barriers to free yourself? We want to comb our hair. We want to get all the knots out. We want our whole being to be free of entanglement. The entanglement of the Yetzer Hara. The entanglement of that voice inside. Well, he just treated me so not nicely the other day. I just don't feel like the Mikvah mood tonight. Where can you untangle yourself from what was and see yourself really being free as you remove and get rid of whatever is there, physically as well as spiritually? See yourself rising above the damage of yesterday and affirm your outer beauty with your inner beauty. I will be gentle in myself in the process. I am a child of Hashem, and I am being born each new moment. And then let that love and that flow go to your spouse. We're supposed to cut our nails, and we're supposed to really make sure that there's no extraneous skin. Now, of course, you don't want to cut too deeply, but at the same time, there's a message. And one of the Hayom Yom says you cut your nails. Why? So that you won't by accident hurt someone else with your sharpness. So while you're cutting your nails, going inside, making sure there's no dirt, no validating substances, you check, where's my speech? Maybe cutting, hurting. Where can I refine myself in the way I speak? Words are extremely powerful, you know? The word peh equals chesed and ahava. That means if you're going to open your mouth, try best to only speak if you have kindness and love between you. When you say a word to your best friend, you think of, well, let me also talk to my husband like as if he's my best friend. Let me say, I love you. And think of the words of Ani Ohevet Otcha, which is the gematria of Shechina Beinehem. Because when there's love, when there's passion, when you're careful not to jab, not to show him, you did that to me before and I'll show you, God forbid. You know the rules? If you're gonna criticize, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, because it just doesn't work. We know that we're preparing for the mikvah, we want to use hot water. Hot water can represent your fiery love. The more humbleness, the more respect you give to your spouse, the more the Shekhinah rests between you. And another word for Shekhinah is Esh Ochelet Esh. Esh, it's the holy fire that eats up Ochelet, the unholy fire of the other. Instead of thinking you can, with your words and your commands or your nagging sometimes, that it's going to make the difference, you have to try to be careful and say, you know what? Let me bring peace. Let me have shalom. Let me respect. The Shekhinah will do the dirty work. Invite the Shekhinah through every specific mitzvah. So you want to wash your body. You're going to be in a hot tub maybe for a half an hour. And you can do a lot of the details in the bathtub. I actually prepared a Mikvah checklist, which is laminated, and that way you could check all the different things and make sure that you get them done before the Mikvah night and while at the Mikvah, and then check them off so that you're calm, you feel reassured, you're doing your best to not forget any details. And everything that we do to strengthen our love and our marriage, we have to pay attention to the details. The details are important. And the details of the mikvah is so precise. Each one, again, building a vessel to contain the holiness. I mean, it's the night of creation. It's a night where you are God-like in bringing a new soul in the world. It's the night that you can draw forth such holy powers for the newborn. You know, have you ever noticed in the mountain up so high and there's no heat? You're so much closer to the sun than the valley. Oh, we're in the valley. And right, it's been hot. And in the valley, it's the farthest place from the sun. So what's the story here? Why? So the deep teachings of the Torah actually says that up in the mountains, there's no atmosphere. So there's nothing to catch the heat. Down in the valley, there's a lot of atmosphere. Feel it right now. So you see, this is like Torah and mitzvahs. Up in the heaven above, angels don't have Torah and mitzvahs. They cannot contain the holiness. Down here below, we have mitzvot. Thank you, Hashem, to enable us in the details to be able to fill our heart of His holiness, of His kindness, of His wisdom. Let's not make light of the details. It is so important. Let's not make light of the details to make our relationship better either. Oh, you know, it's a rushing morning, and all of a sudden, maybe your husband asks, "Can you get me that coffee?" And you're like, "I have to go, I'm too late." Like, you feel like saying, "You have 2 feet." You don't, but like, "I can't." In your mind, you're maybe feeling that. But that detail of that extra one moment of being extra kind and giving is so crucial to the relationship. Let's not lose those moments. And even if you rush, by the time you're explaining how rushed you are, you could have already given them the coffee. To scrub and cleanse. That's one of the next mikvah messages of our daily lives, where we're actually scrubbing and making sure to use soap and to use whatever we can to get rid of the dirt, to make sure that all the nail polish is off, to make sure that, again, no substances are going to be causing our total immersion to be pure. Well, we have to take time to really scrub our mental mindsets, to really purify the way we think about our spouse. You know how many times people say to me, "You know, when we were married, we were on fire together. Now, he makes me sick, and I'm like, you know, getting dizzy from this relationship." And these thoughts can carry like a 24/7 hoodlum. And every time, spying, being a fault finder. You see, he's doing this. You see, he's doing that. And then the voices, and you carry these thoughts. We got to scrub ourselves. We have to use the soap-like cleansing agent of Torah, of the knowledge of Hashem, how to make the marriage work, how to really remove ourselves from these not positive thoughts. Rabbi Leibel Wolf, I once was at a Shabbaton when he was speaking, and he says, the negative thoughts create negative angels, and these negative thoughts interact with the other person's angels. So then the person becomes repelled. Mikvah time is to erase, do a tshuva, to move away from these negative thoughts. And by the way, when you do that, it melts away the negative angels that you have created and actually creates such holy angels so that they will wait for you at the door, so they will want you back home, so they will feel connected and have that spark like that Kallah night. We want to get to that harmony. We want to get to that inner dimension of our soul powers. You know, God started the creation of the world with thought, and you're creating a new baby with all of your thoughts, starting from, the day you met. But again, mikvah time is a time you can be mindful more of what you can do to prepare to have that wholesome connection. We don't want to block the godly connection either. We don't want to really cause any kind of impurity. You know, like when there's a superconductor that's the agent by which all the energies of the electricity from maybe the main generator to the actual home. A superconductor, the more pure metal it is that's going to transfer the energy, the more energy received at the other end. We are God's superconductor. We want to purify and be that wholesome so no energy of God's koah can be lost along the way. We know we wash all areas. We look for any kind of places where there might be excess skin or excess even between our navel, between our under arms, any place that we may have overlooked. Any excess skin that might be covering an area, we have to look through those areas because that also could become a barrier. When I was thinking about excess, I was thinking about how many times our excess expectations, how many times we may even compare this place where we are, where maybe we aren't. How many times the excess, the demands, the maybe not complaining, just explaining, but gets in the way of belittling your husband, making him feel less than. We have to look and see what are we doing maybe sometimes that actually can block and be a layer of disconnection. Do you hear these mikvah messages? And let me tell you, after many years of not having a baby, and you know it's a segula to learn the mikvah laws, and I kept learning, praying. Well, good news, Baruch Hashem, after almost 8 years, 7 months, 7 days, and 7 hours, counting, the 7, I kept seeing the mikvah messages, like, wow, this is the things that we can do, like internally, mentally, and emotionally to really become that one. Because as much as all the meticulousness and we need the details, this purification on the inside really gives you to the maximum state of beauty and holiness to merit that beautiful child. Definitely, we just said, we're washing and looking for the invisible. This is our mind, body, and soul. Everything that is hidden inside are now coming to the open. We also want to, as we're walking, preparing ourselves for the mikvah, not to just mindlessly walk. Boy, Kallah, how can I be beautiful like a Kallah this night? Check your heart and soul, literally. You check your feet. See where your soles are maybe stuck with sticky substance, because from the mikvah room till coming to the room, you never know. And you never know sometimes. That creepy thought that crept in how you walked that last walk when you were serving him that meal. Were you rushing it, almost feeling heavy, every step with that aura of, here you go. Check the soul of every action that you do. Check the tone of your voice. Check the look of your eyes when walking toward your spouse. Look, the night is becoming very beautiful. You're entering now the moment where you're about to immerse. Remember the chambers. Remember your mind, your holy kavanas. You do everything. You did your best. You went through the checklist. Wow, you did pay attention to the ears, and you did pay attention to all the details. Your nose, making sure there's no, again, any substance. Even other parts of your body, your private parts, everything is checked. No place unchecked. All the makeup was taken off. Even with the Q-tip, you'll go in the middle of your end of your eyes. And now you're there. You did it. You know you did your best. You have to let go and say, Hashem, I tried. Please bless me that this moment of immersing is pure and holy to you. Please, when the attendant says, kasher, 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 I know the angels are taking those words as I have been taught and beautifying the glory of Hashem's powers in the world. Do you know this intimacy that is about to take place draws down incredible kindness to your spouse, to your children, to all the people of Hashem, including all the nations of the world. Can you imagine such a holy moment? Allowing even the non-Jews to come closer to Hashem and even become converts, we are taught. This is how holy this amazing moment is. We're trying our best. Wow. So, you're about to enter that state. You go down, making sure your hands are open, making sure you have, again, the open kavana. You're making sure that your feet are a little spread apart, and you go down. And she says, kasher, kasher, kasher. And then, you go again. Some people have different minhagim. Some people do it 3 times, some people more. I want to stay more. It's such a holy moment. I really pray that the words coming from my heart really enter your heart. Yes, you did everything that you could. You gave your heart and soul to it all. Look, sometimes the husband is not so ready. We have to then, as we're entering that stage of going home, maybe he didn't take a shower, maybe the kids are all over the place and he didn't do his part. You gotta be careful. Keep that holiness alive. Keep that unity. You know, I always say to my Kallahs, you're not 100% okay, and he's not 100% okay. Only angels are 100% okay. Sometimes you have your moments, sometimes he has your moments, and they tell me, well, but I told him 100%. How many times I told him? 100, another 100, and still. And you men out there, if you're listening to this, know that your wife has tried so hard. Make that extra effort. Pay attention to make it easier for her. Go the extra mile as well. You can have the mindful moments too to make her process and her experience that more holy and pleasurable. You know, the delight in the bedroom is the place of the most delight that Hashem experiences in our Torah and mitzvos. The unity. If you think about the unity of an apple, and then you're bringing out the sparks of this apple, but this soulmate of you has the holy sparks of Hashem. And in that unity, you bring out so much. Boi Kallah, may you always feel like beautiful like Kallah, no matter what, no matter who. I bless you. Those of you who may not have gone to the mikveh ever, there are so many incredible stories how mikveh has a retroactive blessing. Even if you go after the mikveh stage of your life. One story where this woman had a child who was not gifted with a child. And the Rebbe actually told this woman, try to get your mom to go to the mikveh if she didn't go to the mikveh. And you were maybe created not pure, without the purity. So the Rebbe actually guided her. She actually asked her mother, but the mother was an atheist. So they found out that she could even ask her grandma to go to the mikveh. Her grandma went to the mikveh and she was blessed with a baby. There was another person who was about to marry out of the faith, and they didn't know what to do. And so again, the request was to ask the mother go to the mikveh. And the person went to the mikveh, and all of a sudden, the person didn't want to marry out of the faith. There is so many miracles. People who are not well go to the mikveh or ask their parents or grandparents to go to the mikveh. Incredible stories. I can tell you myself, one time I was in Israel and I met this woman by miracle. I hadn't seen her in a while, and she was not well. And she was begging me, like, Erev Rosh Hashanah, please, please, I need to see you, I need to see you. Motzei Rosh Hashanah, I met up with her, and I was talking to her about, kind of the mystical experiences of, really bringing that inner peace and happiness in your life. And for whatever reason, I feel like God had this, pull in my mouth to tell her about mikvah. I mean, she wasn't necessarily looking like she was Orthodox. She was wearing, not necessarily the kind of clothing maybe that you would think. And I don't know, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to think I'm like a weirdo talking about the mikvah. And then all of a sudden, you could see her face was like a ghost. Like, oh no, she's going to sue me. I'm like, or is she... I was so concerned. Next thing she tells me, I can't believe you're saying this. I've been suffering so long. I've been having OCD, anxiety, depression. You can't even imagine. And when you mentioned the mikvah, it reminded me that I stopped going to the mikvah. I said, what? When? She said, oh my goodness. I stopped going to the mikveh because I kept getting, my menses again and again, and it was just too frustrating for me, and I just stopped. And she made the connection. When she stopped, that's when she started to get spiritually not aligned. That's when her problem started. I said, I'm telling you, you'll go back to the mikveh, you'll get a mikveh teacher, you're gonna really learn it, and you're gonna see there's going to be definitely a shift. I didn't know how much, how long, but almost in an instant, she called me that night when she came home, so happy. My children are seeing me so happy. They haven't seen me smile like this in a long time. And from that night on, from her hachlata, from her decision to be committed to the mikvah, what no medicine could fix, the mikvah fixed. I witnessed it. And many stories like that. I witnessed many women who did not have children that started to go to, I suggested them to go Sarah Carmeli to learn classes with them, and that month, after 8 years or more, not having had a child. So I bless you. Let's try our best to see what can we do to enjoy every aspect of our Jewishness, including family purity. My dear soul sisters, you are holy. Good is good, and better is better. When we put our mind, body, and soul into everything we do, everyone around us feels our light. You know, where there's light, it attracts and begins with family purity. Thank you so much for being here. And I bless you. Thank you, Shoshana, Mansuri, for this amazing event. Beautifully done. We all just want to stay here, you know? Like, we'll wake up in the morning and jump in the pool. Like, this is the Mikvah mode right here. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Miriam, again so much. Everybody's terrific. Thank you so much for your inspirational words. And I am sure that everybody was able to get, it came from the heart and it will go into the heart. I really want to say a big thank you to Miriam Yerushalmi. Thank you so much. And I really like what you said. I think every single one of us tonight should take a little something about ourselves. So for those of us who are ready, Baruch Hashem, keep Mikvah, it's beautiful. Try to see if you could influence someone else to come to the Mikvah. As Miriam explained it to us, coming to the Mikvah, it's an appointment between you and Hashem. This is the time in your life where you could be the closest ever to your Creator. It's a special moment. We, the Jewish women, have been entrusted with it. Coming to the Mikvah, you are like the Kohen Gadol of your own home. You have been chosen by Hashem to be the Kohen Gadol of your home. You're the one who brings this holiness into the home. When you are inside of those waters of the Mikvah, you are compared to Him inside of the Kodesh HaKodashim on the day of Yom Kippur, at the time of the Ne'ilah. Inside of you, inside of me, inside of every Jew, there is a piece of Hashem. And you could reconnect to that. It's a special moment in our life. Mikvah is definitely one of them. I also would like to mention that on the seat you have a pack of Bedika cloth. Those Bedika cloths, some of you already know what they are here for, and some people may not know. And I do want to insist that for your Mikvah to be kosher, you have to check. It's not enough to know I'm clean. You could be clean for 180 days. That's not enough. You have to check. So please make sure to